Welcome to the London Perspective podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about advanced ChatGPT prompt engineering. A lot of people look at ChatGPT as a magical black box that gives us mysterious human-like output, but a better way of looking at it is as a calculator for words. This is a tool, and the output that you get or the quality of that output is very dependent on the input that you put in. By learning how to give the machine better input and tell it what you want and how you want it formatted in your response, then you can get better output which is more aligned with what you're looking for. When used right, it can be like having an extra employee in your office. They can do a multitude of tasks better than humans can. In this episode, we're going to start by looking at a very basic example of how to improve the output from ChatGPT. We'll be using a sales letter as an example. We'll put in a prompt asking ChatGPT to write a sales letter for our SAS product using AI. The response we get is fairly decent. It's a good cohesive letter that we could use straight out, but let's see how we can make it better. First, we'll add a topic and a persona. We'll tell ChatGPT that it is a professional copywriter and then tell it exactly what we want. We'll create a one-page sales letter about the topic above using these strategies. These strategies are fairly standard copywriting practices, such as using strong persuasive language, short sentences in simple terms, asking questions to transition between paragraphs, backing out the main points with figures, evidence and examples, and speaking directly to the reader. We'll even go about this by asking ChatGPT for advice and tips on how to write a professional sales letter and then use those strategies in our prompt. The final thing we'll add at the end of this is a call to action. We'll tell ChatGPT what the purpose of this sales letter is and what we're trying to do. We'll say that the call to action for this content is to sign up for a newsletter. By just giving ChatGPT more information about how we wanted to write the content, the length of the content and what we're trying to do with that piece of content, we're getting a much more compelling product as the output from this program. Another key difference between ChatGPT and other AI tools is that with ChatGPT, the output is benefited by the more input you can put in and the more details you can give it. And also it has a feature called memory of the conversation history, which means it's not isolated like a Google search, and over time you can actually build up and train that model to focus on what you're trying to do. That's all for this episode of the London Perspective podcast. We hope you learned something new about how to improve your output from ChatGPT. There are many more use cases and features to explore, so be sure to check out our next episode where we'll dive into 50 different use cases for ChatGPT. Thanks for listening.